Maybe she barely qualified as pretty, but there was something about her, in the strong, clean lines of her face and the way she walked, an almost gliding stride that made him think maybe her feet didn't quite touch the ground, that had kept consciousness of her nagging at him like a persistent mosquito. Learning about her had fascinated him. He liked knowing that her favorite color was green, that she didn't want pepperoni on her pizza, that she enjoyed action movies and, thank God, yawned at the idea of chick flicks, which was surprising because she was so essentially feminine. As she explained it, she already knew about woman stuff, so why would she want to watch more of the same? Trivial stuff, mostly. He was beguiled by her serenity. If she had a temper, he'd never seen it. She was the most evenly balanced person he'd ever met, and even after 2 years of marriage, he still couldn't quite believe his luck. She yawned and stretched, the move popping her nipple out of the baby's slack mouth, who grunted and made a few sucking motions, then was still. Fascinated, David reached out and stroked one gentle finger over the plump mound of her bare breast. He admitted it. He was delighted with the new size of her breasts. Pre-pregnancy, Milla's shape had been lean, like a long-distance runner's. Now she was rounder, softer, and the post-birth moratorium on sex was driving him crazy. He couldn't wait until tomorrow, when she had her 6-week checkup from Susanna Cosper, the team's OB-GYN. Actually, because of a couple of emergencies that played havoc with Susanna's schedule, it was almost 7 weeks now, and he was close to howling at the moon. Jerking off relieved the tension, but it was a long way from being as satisfying as making love to his wife. She opened her eyes and drowsily smiled at him. "Hey, Doogie," she murmured. "Thinking about tomorrow night?" He laughed, both at the nickname and how she'd read his mind. Not that reading his mind was any great feat. He'd had little else besides sex on the brain for 2 months now. Nothing else. "Maybe Doogie Jr. will sleep all night." She stroked a gentle hand over the baby's fuzzy head, and he responded by making more sucking motions with his mouth. Simultaneously, both adults said, "I doubt it," and David laughed again. Justin had a voracious appetite. He wanted feeding at least every 2 hours. Milla had been concerned that her breast milk wasn't rich enough or that she didn't have enough, but Justin was clearly thriving, and Susanna said there was nothing to worry about. The baby was just a pig. Milla yawned again, and, concerned, David touched her cheek. "Just because Susanna will give you the all-clear tomorrow doesn't mean we have to make love. If you're too tired, we can wait." Susanna had made damn certain he understood how exhausted a new mother was, especially if she was breastfeeding. Interrupted in mid-yawn, Milla glared at him. "Oh, yes, we do," she said fiercely. "If you think I'm going to wait another minute, Justin will be lucky if I don't leave him with Susanna while I hunt you down at the clinic." "Gonna hold a scalpel on me and make me strip?" he asked, grinning. "It's a thought." She caught his hand and pulled it to her breast again, rubbing her nipple against his fingers. "It's been over 6 weeks. We don't have to wait for Susanna's official okay." He wanted to go with that idea. It had in fact occurred to him before, but he hadn't wanted Milla to think that all he cared about was sex. He was relieved she had brought up the idea first, and temptation gnawed at him. He glanced at his wristwatch, and the time made him groan. "I have to be at the clinic in 10 minutes. Already people would be lining up outside the clinic doors, prepared to patiently wait for hours to see a doctor. He was the team surgeon, and in fact had a surgery scheduled in half an hour. He barely had enough time to get to the clinic, change, and get scrubbed. Not that he'd need more than 10 seconds to climax the way he felt, but Milla definitely needed more time than that. "Tonight, then," Milla said, turning on her side and smiling at him. "I'll keep Justin awake as much as possible so he'll sleep." "Good plan." He stood and reached for his keys. "What are you doing today?" "Nothing much. I'm going to the market this morning before it gets so hot." "Get some oranges." He'd been on an orange kick lately, as if his body craved the vitamin C. He'd been spending long hours in surgery, so maybe he did. He leaned down and kissed Milla, then brushed his lips against Justin's satiny cheek. "Take good care of Mommy," he told his sleeping son, and hurried out the door. Milla stayed in bed a few more minutes.